Orlando has many suburbs and some great ones too, but I'm going to share a local's perspective on one that may well surprise you. Today, I'm going to make the case for a little suburb that you may not ever heard of, and that is DeBary, Florida. Yes, I said it. Now, before those of you that know the area start freaking out, stick around for just a minute. Maybe you'll begin to see what this little jewel under 30 minutes north of Orlando has to offer. If you do a quick search online, there are all sorts of suggestions for the best suburb of Orlando. I mean, there's Windermere, Winter Park, Maitland, Mount Dora, Lake Mary. I could go on and on. Look, I've been around this area for a long time. I went to high school in the 80s in Winter Park, and I've worked throughout Central Florida, so I know that there are some great options out there. But there are a few reasons that DeBary stands out above these cities, so stick around as the last reason I'm going to suggest may just surprise you. I'm Chuck Shaver, and I'm a local realtor here in Central Florida, and I do all sorts of videos on what it's like to eat, sleep, live, or whatever here in Central Florida. If that's the information you want, hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I do other videos just like this. Of course, if you have questions about or needs in the real estate market, feel free to leave a comment below or just pick up the phone and give me a call. Now, on to why DeBary is the best suburb of Orlando, Florida. First, let's talk about the cost of housing. The median selling price of a home in DeBary is a good bit less than it is down in Orlando. I did a quick search of some homes on our MLS and found that in the last 90 days, the median sale price of a moderately sized home in Orlando sold for around $390,000, whereas the same home in DeBary sold for around $365,000. Some of the other suburbs I mentioned carry a much higher median selling price than Orlando. The median selling price for a home in the same criteria in Winter Park was $461,000, almost $401,000 in Lake Mary, and over $500,000 in Windermere. Orlando has a wide array of housing, with homes that are really inexpensive and some that would break the bank for most of us, and DeBary surely doesn't have that variety. However, DeBary is a quaint little bedroom community with a good variety of homes, and I believe that if your budget is a consideration, then you gotta consider DeBary. Don't think for a minute that DeBary doesn't have some nice higher-end homes. Riviera Bella, DeBary Plantation, they both have some very nice homes, and there are some other estate-style homes around too on some land. I've got some videos for 2 of these neighborhoods, so check them out at the end of this video. But what if your budget isn't an issue? Well, there are plenty of other reasons why I believe that DeBary is the best suburb of Orlando. Let's talk about the traffic in DeBary, well, or the lack thereof. That's right, up in DeBary, rush hour traffic really isn't a thing. Unless, of course, that Orlando rush hour traffic has I-4 backed up and they're cutting through 1792 or something like that as they head up towards Daytona. Even if I-4 is stacked up, I'm usually able to get off just before the St. Johns River Bridge and slip in unscathed. Well, traffic really isn't a thing up in DeBary, it is down in Orlando. No worries. DeBary has a sunrail system that doesn't even care about traffic. The sunrail station is right off 1792, and you can jump on the rail and get a round trip that leaves like every 30 minutes or so for like $5 or $7. The sunrail goes from DeBary all the way down south to Kissimmee. There's plenty of parking, and it's a great way to not only save a few bucks, but it'll save you from pulling your hair out watching the I-4 brake lights for like an hour on the way home from work. I'm sorry if I sound like some kind of sunrail salesman, but it really is a good option. Next, let's address the location, because I said a few minutes ago that DeBary was about 30 minutes north of Orlando. Is DeBary on the boondocks or something? Heck no, it's not. DeBary sits just across the St. Johns River from Sanford and Lake Mary, which has all the restaurants, shopping, traffic, and congestion that you'll ever need. The St. Johns River is a great resource for DeBary, and it runs all the way from down near Melbourne up into Jacksonville. I've spent many days on the St. Johns River fishing and water skiing. DeBary is under a 45-minute ride to Daytona or New Smyrna beaches and just 20 or 25 minutes up into Deland and Stetson University. Deland is one of my favorite small towns, and it has quite a bit of charm, too. When I think of a suburb, I think of a small town, and small towns have charm, right? Well, I've always believed that Orlando runs in one huge fluid glob from Kissimmee all the way up through Sanford. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't a different feel from one town to another, but I just don't think that there's any real distinct difference in any other Orlando suburb. On the contrary, DeBary definitely still has some of that small town charm. From the Four B's Diner to the parades that they have when they completely shut down 1792, it really just has that small town feel. Now, if you're worried that it's just too Mayberry for you, then maybe you'll be happy to know that DeBary has some pretty serious plans for growth, including an actual downtown. There's quite a bit of multifamily growth occurring down around the Sunrail area as well. I guess the growth is good, but personally, I'm a little nervous. I'm not too excited about how it may impact the charm of this quaint little town in the years ahead. Then again, I had the same thoughts when they were doing that to Oviedo, and that worked out quite well for them. Of course, I'm sure there are other reasons why DeBary is the best suburb of Orlando, so share your thoughts on some of those ideas. Perhaps there's another suburb and what you'd like to cast your vote for. I'm confident that I'm going to get some pushback on my case for DeBary, and I look forward to that feedback so that this community can benefit as a whole. Check out one of my other videos on the other suburbs of Orlando. I've got one on Sanford and a few others, including one on Deland. If you have questions about the local real estate market, don't hesitate to leave a comment below or reach out to me directly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.